Who are you? Today, this issue is no longer just about your name or your heart. In the logic of the digital world, your identity is being simplified into a code in a database, a data point in a huge system. This raises an unsettling question: who defines you, and who authorizes your existence? We seem to be entering an era where physical keys are no longer necessary. But does the door opened by the digital identity really lead to freedom? Today we will start from a dusty historical document. Try to uncover the unknown truth behind the global digital identity project. The story begins in Brussels in 1998. A draft bill called the Directive on the Integration of Digital Human Identities was quietly passed in a meeting closed to the public. The document was never officially released or widely publicized. It wasn't until 2004 that Swiss journalist Jacques Morel discovered it by chance during an archive sorting. The content of the draft was shocking. It laid out in detail a plan for the next 20 years. How to integrate residents of all EU member states into a unified digital identity database. The core statement in the document is, digital identity will become the new link between state sovereignty and citizen obligations in the 21st century. This is not just a technical proposal, but more like a prophecy about the future social structure. From the ID cards and social security cards we are familiar with to the chips in passports. Then there are the health codes and vaccine passes that have emerged in recent years. The way we prove we are who we say we are is rapidly shifting from physical credentials to digital authentication. Further technologies, such as advanced biometric systems, are being deployed on a large scale. This includes facial recognition, fingerprint scanning, iris recognition, and even the storage of DNA information. India's Aadhaar system is a case worthy of in-depth study. As of 2022, the system has established biometric profiles containing facial, fingerprint, and iris data for more than 1.3 billion Indian residents. In some internal documents of the United Nations Development Program, Aadhaar is seen as an early prototype of a global digital identity program. This system is not only linked to identity, it is also closely linked to individuals' bank accounts, medical records, educational background, and even voting rights. This brings up a core concern. What if your digital data becomes invalid or is controlled? In the logic of the system, you may no longer exist. On the surface, the proliferation of digital identities seems to be an inevitable result of technological development. But there is a deeper driving force behind it. The United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development clearly states in Goal 16.9, by 2030 provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. This is a goal that sounds humanitarian. What is surprising, however, is the central force driving digital identity initiatives around the world. Not just governments, but a range of powerful private institutions and non-governmental organizations. Microsoft, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, IBM, MasterCard, World Economic Forum, and the ID 2020 Alliance, etc., have jointly formed an organization called the Good ID Alliance. These organizations publicly advocate that every person should have a globally verifiable, immutable digital identity record. This sounds like it's about protecting human rights and financial inclusion. But is it also paving the way for a numbered society governed by data and algorithms? The outbreak of the new coronavirus pandemic has undoubtedly become the biggest catalyst for global digital identity initiatives. Measures such as health codes and vaccine passports have been rapidly implemented around the world. People have experienced unprecedentedly that without corresponding digital authentication, your actions will be greatly restricted. Unable to take public transportation, enter stores or restaurants, or even return to their own homes. Canada's ArriveCan, the United States Clear app, Europe's Green Pass, etc. These systems are being tested on a large scale in the name of public health, as part of a social access verification exercise. They convey a clear message. Only after passing the system's certification can you be a qualified citizen. Only then can they continue to exist and function normally in society. This is the foundation for building the future social credit system. From China's Sesame credit to the possible e-citizen rating system in Europe. We are sliding towards a data-driven society where individual rights and freedoms are determined based on scores. Looking back at human history, control over individual identity is not new. In ancient Babylon, slaves were branded to indicate ownership. In medieval Europe, wanderers needed to hold an official personal identity document to travel between different regions. During the Nazi Germany period, prisoners in concentration camps were stripped of their names and only had numbers engraved on their arms. These are all examples throughout history of controlling and differentiating groups of people through physical markings or documents. Today, we no longer use imprints or paper documents. Instead, they are being replaced by databases, biometrics, and blockchain technology. We might think this represents progress and efficiency. But from the perspective of control, is this simply a more advanced, more hidden, and more difficult to escape shackles? Digital systems are ubiquitous and difficult to tamper with. It provides an unprecedented possibility for refined management of individuals. In some religious and mystical interpretations, modern digital identity technology is given deeper symbolic meaning. The Book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16, describes a doomsday scene. And he commanded all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads. This verse was once seen as a distant allegory. But as technology develops, some are beginning to link modern digital identity to this prophecy. For example, some cities in Sweden have begun implanting microchips in hands for payment and access control. Some religious commentators have raised the question, are QR codes and biometrics the contemporary manifestation of this mark of the beast? In 2023, a Tokyo company launched an access control system based on palm print recognition and claims that it may replace traditional passports and identity verification methods in the future. What is more concerning is a patent application W022060606 under the name of Bill Gates. The patent describes a system for verifying identity and behavior by monitoring human activity data. It is worth noting that the application number of this patent contains 3 sequences of 6666. Is this just a coincidence? Or is there some unknown symbol game or intention hidden in it? We seem to be being led into a huge digital cage. This prison has no physical bars. It uses convenience as bait and safety as an excuse. The ubiquitous certification system is quietly restricting our freedom. And each of us, every time we click agree to the terms of use. Scan the QR code every time to enter the venue. Every time you use facial recognition to pay or unlock your device. Everyone is using their actions to show the system that they are obedient. Have you ever wondered if you still have the freedom to be offline? In a world where digital identities are ubiquitous, do you still have the right to choose not to be identified by the system or tracked by data? Or have we entered an era where we can no longer log out? We encourage you to think deeply and exercise independent judgment on this matter. Don't easily accept those packaged convenience and safety narratives. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section. Do you really want a digital identity that is defined and controlled by someone else? Or you value more the thing that cannot be encoded and cannot be traced? Your own true undefined self?